Hello friends, and welcome back to the Heart of Home. We are on week 2 of our homemaking skills and routines series, which I am doing a 4-part of here in the month of January. So I hope that the first week of this series was helpful to you. It was kind of more so an introduction to what you should expect for the next 4 weeks. And so today we are going to be focusing specifically on the kitchen. Now, this is probably arguably one of my favorites of these 4 weeks because the kitchen is where I spend the most of my time. You know, those women belong in the kitchen jokes that some guys like to make. I love them. Like, let me make you a sandwich because I will make it good and you will come back for more.
Can you make me a sandwich
On that note, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, this is water kefir. It's very similar to milk kefir, just different grains, but it is fermented water that has been flavored with juice. So I'm about to show you guys the rawest form of my house. Typically on this platform, I don't hide things necessarily, but I'm also very leery about what I'm sharing because it's social media. And if I'm sharing you a mess all the time, it might make you feel messy and you might not be inspired or encouraged. But I am also the first person, as much as I love to create atmospheres that people can be warm and welcome and safe and encouraged in, I also am a normal person and I have messes and I have things to clean up. And, you know, sometimes I drop the ball on things and sometimes I don't. And so tonight, because we are focusing on the kitchen and different skills and routines and little tricks and tips that I have for the kitchen, I decided I'm not going to clean up my kitchen at all before filming this video so that I can show you what I'm talking about. Now, before I get to showing you everything, it's not that crazy. It's just a lived-in home, and a lived-in home is a good home. It's a blessed home. I'm gonna talk with you my routine, essentially. Again, what works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. So give yourself grace, as I have given myself lots of grace as well. And we're gonna break the stigma of what the internet is convincing us or trying to convince us or trying to teach us what your kitchen should look like. What I'm sharing is just what we do, and hopefully something will leave you motivated or encouraged to make a change that will only better you and your home and family. I'm gonna start this backwards. We are gonna talk about things I do in the evening. It's clearly evening right now, as you can see. I have the house to myself, so I thought I'm gonna film this right now. No prep. Actually, I did prep a little bit, but obviously I've been writing blogs to go along with this, so you'll have to check the description. I don't know if it'll be written by the time this video goes up, but if you're seeing this and it's like March, April, May, go check the bio or go check the description. There is a link in there to a blog post about this. So I do have my computer out because I took notes on here because I wanted to make sure that I hit everything that is helpful. Now, I'm not literally gonna share everything with you, but the things that have been most beneficial in our kitchen, I want to share with you. And so I have 5 things that I do regularly in the evening. And that is load the dishwasher and run it if it's full, or at least 3/4 of the way full. If it's not, I'll wait until after breakfast the next morning. I put all the food away. So we do the majority of our cooking at home. Every now and then we love to go out. It's not that we don't love to, but financially we can't afford to go out all the time, because if we could, we'd be getting all you can eat sushi. If you know, you know. We obviously garden for a reason. We want to know what we're eating, and we want to know that it's not sprayed with anything, that the soil isn't poisoned, that it's growing in, etc. And so we cook everything we can from home with the most wholest materials that we can afford. And that being said, in the evening, we usually have dishes to put away, food to put away, stuff to pick up, counters to wipe. And it is my goal that that is always done before we sit and relax, before we put Silas to bed, before we watch a movie, before Silas and Caleb, you know, are wrestling around and playing. We always clean up dinner, and it helps. Seriously, it's so easy to procrastinate that and to just sit here and like big exhale after you made a meal. But like, trust me, girl or boy, keep going. Put the food away, and then that exhale will be even bigger. I just mentioned I do wipe down all the counters. Now, in order to wipe down all the counters, they have to be picked up. And my counters are currently not picked up. There are plenty of items, especially here on the island, that are not cleaned up. I will clean them up. I won't go to bed unless I have tidied up. Very rarely do I go to bed. I'm probably sick or have a headache if I do, or just, really tired. I always clean up the counters. And the reason why is because in the morning, when I come out to the kitchen before everyone else wakes up, if the kitchen's dirty, I feel like I'm already behind. And so in order to beat that feeling, I close the kitchen, is what I call it, every night, or at least every night that I can, get the gumption and the energy to do so. So clearing the island, any clutter, any stuff that's sitting out, put it away. Just put it somewhere where it can go, where it belongs, or hopefully it's home. And then the last thing I do is I sweep the floors. Now we have dogs, we do have a Roomba. I used to have 3 rugs on my floors because we have wooden floors. They're not real wood, it's just like the vinyl, and it's nice, hard, very hard, scratch resistant vinyl because we have a 5-year-old and 2 70-pound dogs. Waterproof, we invested in our flooring. We also have dogs who shed. Now they don't shed like a golden retriever or like a lab or anything crazy, thankfully, but there is hair. And then because we cook everything from home that we can, there's usually crumbs or like flour on the ground or, whatever. And so I always make sure to clean that because again, when I come out in the morning, I'm usually barefooted, or sometimes, I don't know why I thought you were gonna be able to see my, sometimes I have my slippers on, especially if it's winter, but in the summer, catch me, I never have shoes on inside or outside. But I don't wanna step on crumbs. You know how uncomfortable that is? And then you do the weird heel rub against your leg to get the crumbs off. You know what I'm talking about. So we avoid that at all costs by closing the kitchen, sweeping the floors, putting everything away, and cleaning the counters. Those are my 5 go-to evening kitchen routines as a homemaker. In the middle of the day, there's stuff I do as well. And as we go backwards in the day timeline, there's actually less that I do. There's more in the evenings. I have the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife. I also work from home. I obviously do this. I teach music lessons in the evenings, 3 out of 7 days of the week. I used to work in ministry. We just stepped out of that. And so I do have some more time at home, but I do know that you might be watching this and you might work in the middle of the day. And if that's the case for you, just skip ahead a couple minutes, So in the middle of the day, one thing that really helps me and helps the smell in my house, which is one of the senses, something we talked about in week 1 was we have 5 senses and we need to engage all of them to have an influential atmosphere, to achieve the atmosphere you're looking for. Well, smell is one of them. And if you have dirty dishes sitting in the sink with food still on them, or if you're the person that stacks them next to the sink and doesn't scrape them into the trash, ugh. I know that smell because I've once done it for a season. And so I get it. There is grace, but let me be the one to tell you again, sister, take the extra step and just grab a paper towel, grab the napkin you were using, your fork, whatever it was, and scrape it into the trash or the garbage disposal or the compost bin, better yet. And then just rinse your plate. It doesn't have to be clean. There can still be some food on it, but just rinse it because I promise you, getting that food off the plate is going to make a huge difference in the way that your house smells. And you probably don't realize it because you're used to the smell. You're accustomed to the smell. But if somebody was to step into your house in the evening after you've had dirty dishes stacked in a pile with food still on them in the sink, they'd probably be like, I think I can smell that leftover lasagna that's sitting in the sink, just rinse them off. They don't have to go in the dishwasher. They don't have to be clean. Just rinse them off and stack them in your sink until the evening when you can load the dishwasher and run it while you are asleep. Next one. Put away ingredients used for lunch. So I'm going to reverse this. Before we put away the stuff that we use for lunch, I'm going to give you a trick. If you are a stay-at-home mom, or if you run a daycare, or you have multiple children, whatever, don't cook a full-on meal for lunch. If you are trying to cook everything from home and you're doing breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, dessert, you're going to get burnt out so quickly. You can work up to that by all means, but if I have any advice for you, it's to do a charcuterie board for lunch or just eat leftovers. That's what we do. If we have leftovers, we'll warm them up, whatever they are. But most days we're eating cheese sticks, bologna, leftover, breakfast, smoked ham, bacon. Like we're literally just eating leftovers, and it's like fruit, crackers, cheese. Like it is your typical charcuterie board, and he loves it. My child loves it. And I know this works for a lot of other homemakers. So if this is you, or if you're new to this, or you're overwhelmed cooking so much, give yourself grace and just say, here you go. Here is a cutting board full of snacks that you can snack on for lunch, and they will be fine. And then after that, like I said, put everything away. Don't wait. Don't let the mess build up during lunch and then let dinner time come and start dinner off being overwhelmed by the mess that you left from lunch. Just don't do it. Don't procrastinate, okay? Clean it all up and be ready for the next meal. You got to set yourself up for success. The other midday thing that I do, I thaw any meat that I might need to take out and thaw for dinner. Now, what I'm going to get to is something I do weekly, and part of that weekly skill or routine is bringing up meat from our freezer that we are going to eat that week, because meat is always best if you can thaw it naturally. Like in the fridge, it'll thaw down. It'll take a few days, but it will, or you can just set it on the counter. Now, depending on what it is and how comfortable you are with doing that, but otherwise you can set it in a bowl of warm water. So after lunch, ask yourself, what am I making for dinner? Do I need to thaw the roast? Do I need to thaw the pork chops? Okay, I need to do something about that now, so I'm not microwaving it. We have a microwave. I hate using it, and I rarely like to or do ever, but I hate thawing meat in the microwave. It is just not good, and then it thaws uneven, and then you have dry meat and, yada, yada. So when you're done with lunch, ask yourself, do I need to prep any meat? Or maybe you have vegetables that need to thaw. That's much faster, but any meat for dinner. So that is midday. Now we're on to mornings. Mornings are so relaxed for me, and I made them that way on purpose because I think it's important to start your day right. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one, but if we start our day on the wrong side of the bed, the whole day is affected by that. And so that's why we close the kitchen, and that's why we don't have a ton of things to do in the morning. I spend time with the Lord. I love to get up before the rest of my family, but unfortunately it doesn't happen very often in the winter because I'm sleepy in the winter, But I will get up, read my Bible. I might tidy up if there's a few things laying around. I might prep breakfast before everyone's awake. I might do some work on my computer, whatever it might be. But I will run the dishwasher if it wasn't ran the night before, like if it wasn't full yet. I'll run the dishwasher as soon as I fill it up. Sometimes it's after I make breakfast. Sometimes it's before lunch, whatever. But I always make sure that as soon as it's full, run it. Just run it. And then put them away, usually in the evening or in the afternoon, whenever you have time, okay? The other thing I do in the morning for our kitchen is I clean up a coffee bar. Our coffee bar it's small, but we're very fortunate to have a specific part of our kitchen that we can put all of our coffee and tea and stuff in. I'm actually, instead of talking to you and looking at it, why don't we just go over there? This is the coffee bar. I'm literally in the middle. I just took down our, all the little Christmas buildings. You know what I'm saying? You probably saw them in an old video. But I need to get my mugs back out because my mugs will go up there. But I have all of like my spices and my herbs. I've got some little books that I use every now and then. That's more like a summer thing that I'll pull them down. Some other books there, right? And then I've got my tea kettle, some coffee grounds, the espresso machine, the bean grinder, my favorite mugs, the pour over, and then easy access to the regular stuff that we use. So we have our coffee, and then we have teas and stuff. So everything that we use and then there's my lavender syrup pea. I'm not trying to hide it, y'all. There's a syrup that I buy that probably isn't super great for me. I say probably, and I know it's not. But it was $3, and lavender syrup is something I thoroughly enjoy in the summer, and I haven't yet been able to grow enough lavender to make a lavender syrup, but I will get there. Baby steps. So I always make sure that this is cleaned up. That means if I ran my espresso machine, that I've cleaned out the grounds. If I used milk, I definitely run the clean option. I make sure the water reservoir is filled. The pour over usually has like a paper full of, a filter full of coffee grounds. When it's cool enough to touch, I'll take it out and throw it away. There's usually, there's some grounds right here. There's usually a mess of coffee and tea right here. And so we clean that up. This is clean. Now it's cluttered right now, but it's clean, okay? We're getting to the decluttering series that will come in February. Isn't he just so cute? I love you, Bubba. Okay, so that's the morning, the evening, and the midday. stuff that I do. Hopefully there's something in there that you can take and apply into your own routine. Now, weekly, I kind of just alluded to this, but weekly, I already said, I bring up meat, usually for our family, which is only 3 people. It's me, my husband, and my 5-year-old. He's not 5 yet. He's almost 5. We bring up around 2 to 3 different, I'm getting distracted by my computer. We bring up about 2 to 3 different large meats. Now, what that means is that right now I actually have pork chops, as you can see, thawing in the kitchen sink. I forgot my husband was going out with the boys tonight, but I have pork chops that are gonna be thawed for tomorrow. But we bring the meat up, we put it in the fridge and let it thaw out naturally, or if it's not completely thawed by the time I want to use it, again, I will pull that out after lunch of the day that I'm gonna use it and thaw it, in warm water or on the counter. Another thing that we do that really helps me stay afloat in the kitchen and just as a chef of the household, I clean out the fridge. So I don't wipe my fridge down. I probably do that once or twice a year, with the exception of like if messes or something, or if there's like an obvious spill I can reach, I'll clean that up. Like I'm not gonna let it build up and get sticky and get tacky and really hard to clean. But I'm not gonna go through and like wipe all the moisture marks and all these things off it's just not worth it. I mean, we got too much in our fridge. A lot of it's glass. Like it's not worth it. It's not hurting anything and it doesn't smell. So it can wait. It's not a priority. But what is a priority is leftover food in your fridge. So we typically eat leftovers, like I said, for lunch, but if there's leftovers in the end of, if there's leftovers at the end of the week, I will usually do like a shepherd's pie with, like if we had mashed potatoes and peas in there, I'll make a shepherd's pie with that. Or I might make a soup or a stew or, something. I might make pizza and put the leftover ham with some pineapple or something on it. And so at the end of the week, it's kind of like one for all for one, but like leftover version. Bubba, you're so distracting. Is your skin so dry? And then whatever we don't eat by Sunday, I typically will clean out, because at that point, it's like getting to the verge of 6 days old, sometimes 5 and then less. And at that point, I am usually comfortable eating leftovers still. I know my husband, he's not big on leftovers past like 2 days old. So we cater, we do what we must. And so then on Sunday evenings or Monday, I'm usually making an online grocery order. Again, we live somewhere where yes, I could go drive and get groceries, but I also do a lot of stuff throughout the week. Being a stay-at-home mom, my child has a schedule, goes to preschool and, has all these other extracurricular activities. I teach in the evenings and then business, And so as much as I would love, he is so loud right now. As much as I would love to go to the grocery store all the time to get our groceries, because it is slightly cheaper. I've noticed they actually mark stuff up online when you do like grocery deliveries and stuff. It's whatever. But I don't. What's more convenient in this season of life is having groceries delivered. Now, if I can go get them, I will, because I enjoy strolling the aisles of Aldi. So I usually do that Sundays or Mondays. I have that delivered. Now, here's a little thing to put in your pocket too. We used to have a whiteboard on our fridge when we lived in our previous home, and I would write down everything we needed throughout the week on that so that I didn't forget, because I'm very forgetful. If you know me, you know that. And so I actually now keep a running list just on my notes app on my phone. So you can write it down on a piece of paper, use a marker board on your refrigerator, or just write it down on your phone, or you can send yourself a text. Like if you don't have a notes app, if you just have like a flip phone or something, just send yourself an ongoing text of items you need. I feel like this is getting long, so I'm sorry, but if you're still here, I hope you are benefiting from this video. Okay, now we're on to the regular things that I do. And that is just the here and there thing. So whenever our trash is full, I take it out. I don't let stuff just stack up. Frankly, we can't, because we have a trash that like you pull out. It's not just like sitting in a bin, because we have thieves living in our house. The 70-pound dogs. And if the trash is exposed, their noses know what is in it. So every time it's full, we take it out. I usually, not every single time, it totally depends on the week, but usually I will wipe it down with like a vinegar spray. And if you don't have that, I'm not going to recommend other cleaners because they're bad for you. But You can use hot water. That'll do it. You got soap in your house, you got hot water, that will do the job. It will kill the bad bacteria. It'll take away the bad smell. Just clean out your trash bins. It's something that your mama probably never told you about, but makes the world's difference. So the other regular thing that I do is every time I wipe down my counters, I'm usually wiping my cabinets. Now again, not every time because I wipe my counters a lot, but if I ever see a mark on my cabinets, I'm wiping it. We have painted cabinets. I grew up with painted cabinets. We don't have the luxury of like real wood or like, I don't even know what expensive material there'd be, but we don't have it because we ain't expensive folk. But I do know that the paint we're using is a nice paint, and so it's easy to wipe things off. Now, we do have texture on our cabinet doors, some trim, so food will build up in there if it drips on there and doesn't get wiped off. So wipe your cabinets regularly. You will thank me. And then the last two things. Thank you guys so much if you are still here. Again, I hope you are loving this video. The last two things that I want to share with you that I do in the kitchen specifically is I keep things accessible that I use regularly. What that means, I'm gonna show you. I'm a canner, right? I garden, I preserve food, and I eat the food. Now, not all of my cans will fit in our pantry. Isn't this lovely? These are doors from my childhood home. But what does fit in my pantry, I do have in here, are these top two shelves. Now, these are things we eat regularly. So we have our beans, our okra, our broth. We have cranberry juice, pickles, tomato sauce, you name it, peaches. We've got it in here because it needs to be quickly accessible. Now, that is just one example. Another example, like back over here at the coffee bar, all of our tea and like matcha and all this stuff. I don't want to go digging through like a cabinet and like, shuffling things around. I want it to be easy and accessible. And so this is where we keep that, right? We've got extra mugs. I love mugs. I have a bad habit of collecting mugs and I am really bad at departing from them. And so I have a lot of mugs and I need them to be accessible because I drink a lot of tea, as you guys know and as you have seen on this channel. The other thing that is probably unusual for some people is this cabinet. So I keep our water kefir in here because it's usually warm. I've got kombucha back there that's been sitting there for probably 8 months, which I'm terrified to do anything with at this point. I keep stuff that I don't use regularly up there because I can't reach it. And so we've got shaker bottles and like our camping Nalgene's, but measuring cups, the cheese grater, some bread bags that I just got for Christmas, flour, quick access to flour, my scale, right? My vanilla, cookbooks, salt and pepper. Aren't those cute? Those are my husband's. I've got my Sharpie because when I can and I pull jars out and I got to label them, I don't want to go digging around for a Sharpie. And so I keep them right there. Laffy Taffy that I'm hiding from my son, which, you know what? He's not here. This is what happens to most candy in our house. Terrible. But, I've got more stuff here, more cheesecloths and stuff. So keep things accessible that you use on the daily because I promise you, it'll make life that much easier where you are in the atmosphere that you're creating. And then the last thing that I do, as you know, in this home tour that I just shared a couple weeks ago, I told you I was so excited to create this home, right? I'm no professional. I studied music therapy and psychology. I did not study like graphic design or interior design, none of that. I just love it because I love to be in an environment or in an atmosphere that makes me feel good, right? And so I will do everything I can to do that wherever I am. My college roommate's family always said, Courtney's the one that makes your guys' house feel like a home, And it was true because I thought it was so important. It's so important. And so whatever your kitchen is, whatever house you are in, maybe you're in a home with in-laws, maybe you're in, a real rough home that is struggling. Maybe you don't make a lot of money and, you got cracked countertops and all sorts of stuff. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what materials you have in your kitchen specifically. You can make it feel like home. Now, part of that means that you have to stop being unrealistic. You have to stop being unrealistic. You have to be realistic with the situation you were given. And just like scripture tells us, you have to steward it well if you want to be entrusted with more. And so my question for you is, how are you stewarding yourself in the kitchen where you are right now? Okay, maybe you're not the person in your kitchen, right? And you're watching this video, good for you. Maybe you are and you're watching this video. Well, I pray and I hope that it was helpful and that it only makes things better in your life. So again, I am a firm believer in being real and being authentic with people, and especially on this platform. You know, when I started this, 2 years ago at this point, holy cow, 2 years, y'all, 2 years on this platform. 2 years ago, we were in the middle of renovating. It still smelled like cat pee in this house. We had subfloor. We had sliding old hollow closet doors as our countertop. We didn't even have cabinets. And then we had metal shelving for all of our pantry. I'll see if I can find some pictures and show you. We didn't have squat in here. And you know, when the Lord put it on my heart to start a YouTube channel, I was like, no. No, Lord, like this house is not aesthetically pleasing. It is not what I'm watching on YouTube. This isn't what other YouTubers have, right? And the Lord said, well, who else is going to break that? Who else? You know, are you doing this to show off your house, to show off your life? Is this about you, or is this about other people? Is it about equipping and encouraging and motivating and just teaching and creating community with other people? And so that is my goal. That's why I didn't clean my countertops before I did this. That's why I haven't swept the floor. That's why there's still a couple dishes over there on the counter. Now, granted, Tuesdays, I don't do a lot in the house because they're my really busy days, but that's why I knew 2 years ago I had to start this channel, and I had to break the stigma of the perfectly, placed and aesthetics and, the giant house. And our house is not giant. If it ever comes off that way, just know it's not. I had to break that stigma, and that's what I'm doing. And so I hope that it leaves you encouraged and motivated, like I said probably 4 times on this video. Can you tell that I really care about that? If that is you, and you've enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below. Like, share this video, subscribe if you are new here and you aren't yet. I'm so glad that you are here, and I hope to see more of you coming in the future. With that, I'm signing off. I've got stuff to do in my kitchen. Bye, y'all. I'll see you on the next video.